Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out Entitled People. Story 1. Karen tries to hold my baby. TL/Dr husband's friend's mother shows up to our house 4 days after having my first baby. She lied to her dill to get our address. Showed up unvaccinated and unmasked during the middle of COVID, then gave unsolicited parenting advice that made no sense. Moral of the story: don't go to people's homes uninvited after they've had a major medical event and invest in cameras to screen visitors. So birth is traumatic, even if it goes right it's still a lot. PPA/PPD really mess with your mind as well. So here's a story from my first birth. Went well and I spent 3 days in the hospital recovering since it was my first and hubs wanted to make sure that I healed and baby was good. Once we got home though everything changed. I was a wreck and in the few hours we had to ourselves I struggled to leave my baby out of my line of sight. Mill and Phil came to help us settle in and get fully adjusted. They weren't at our house for more than 2 hours when my husband's friend's parents showed up at our door. Neither of these people had contacted me or hubs during the whole pregnancy in any way, not even a comment on Facebook, which was the only way that she knew I was having/had the baby. Well, her name is Karen. Karen contacted her dill, not her son, and the only reason she knows DH, to get our address. Dill was busy with a toddler and preschooler so she gave it without thinking. She later apologized but she had nothing to be sorry for. The reason Karen needed our address that instant, to send us a gift. Since this was the middle of COVID I wouldn't have been bothered by a gift arriving from her. We had interacted like 3 times previous to this and I had no issues with her. Instead, she decided it was faster. Ada, she lives literally over a mountain from me, and safer, she was unvaccinated because her right wing will keep her safe, to come to our house, unmasked and give the gift to us. To her credit she did knock. Mill opened the door not thinking it was an issue and I was at the start of PPA so nothing but my baby mattered to me. Karen pushes past Mill to come into our house and tried to hold my 4-day-old infant. I said no. Karen then starts talking about some nonsense. I'm not listening and trying to comfort my baby that's getting fussy, but I don't feel comfortable pulling my boob out, and to get to a private part of the house I'd have to walk past her and I don't want her touching my baby. I start to rub my baby's back and within seconds this woman says, "Oh, be careful. If you spoil them like that then you'll have to do it all their lives and they'll never leave you." She laughs, her husband weirdly chuckles, Hubs, Mill, Phil and I just look at her like she's crazy. She does have 2 grown, 30+ sons that refuse to leave home and she pays all their bills. Thankfully the awkward silence made her leave. Don't go to people's homes after they have a baby unless you are invited or it has been established beforehand that it is okay, and invest in cameras to screen visitors. Story 2. Her poor guests missed part of their meal. I used to work for a bakery, and at closing we would give all the bread, rolls, and Danish to local soup kitchens/missions. The store is closed a good 15 to 20 minutes, and the door is only unlocked because the soup kitchen workers are going out of it. An entitled woman, pushes in looking for a loaf of bread. Us, sorry ma'am, we're closed. But I need a loaf of bread to go with dinner. I'm having company. Us, we're sorry, but we don't have any bread. The bakery is closed. None at all. Not even in the back? Us, no, we give it all to the local homeless shelters at the end of each day. Furious wow, those homeless people sure are lucky. Storms out. I bet she was jealous of how skinny they were without even trying to diet. Idiot. Story 3. My neighbors keep intentionally leading their dog to pee on our lawn. I discovered this when coming back from work and seeing him lead his dog to our lawn and pee. So we went over to his house, knocked on the door and asked him nicely for his dog to stop peeing on our lawn. But when we asked him he said I don't fucking care and told us to leave. Then the next day I decided to sit on my lawn and catch him again and tell him to let his dog not pee on our lawn. And as he walked by he started yelling at me saying, "So we are staring now." It really confused me because before this we never talked to each other. So again I told him to not let his dog pee on our lawn. And he cursed at me and left. Now his dog peeing on our lawn is not a one-time thing, it has been multiple times because our green grass has yellow spots in it. I really don't know what to do, I'm not allowed to put fences because of Hoa. So is there any suggestions on what I can do? Story 4. Crazy asshole wants to love his surveillance camera on. Sorry for the from Aiden, I'm on my phone, and sorry for the grammar, English is not my first language. We aren't American. My family owns 2 houses, I would say my mother owns them, but I've invested too much money so I also get a portion of the profits. One house is our private residence, the other was converted into apartments. The rent is cheap, because the apartments are small, yes they're newly renovated 7 years ago and updated 2 years ago. We've had the same tenant for the last 2 years and she has kept the apartment flawlessly clean, and any damages she did, which were never major, she fixed. Year and a half ago she started dating a guy, they started to live together more and more, but the lease is still in her name only. Recently she decided to broke up with him and told us in advance, she give him 3 days to leave, while she crashed at a friend's place so he can pack his stuff. Good thing she did because that guy is not normal. Not only did he call us and lie, saying she doesn't want the apartment anymore, he also told us she was whoring around while simultaneously calling her and telling her how much he loves her. Typically manipulative, entitled asshole behavior. The tenant called us and apologized for his behavior, only for us to find out he was even worse to her. He was coming to her place of work, stalked her online and non-stop calling and texting. 4 days in of constantly harassing the woman and us, he is supposedly leaving. He texted us he took his stuff but left us some dining room set we don't need. Few hours later he had the audacity to call and complain his surveillance camera in the apartment is offline. My mother losing her shit and threatening him with cops if within 2 hours that camera is not removed. He says we can't touch it cause it's his property. Guess he has no idea it's not my mom's first rodeo with nutcracker boyfriends. Story 5. My bunnies have more say in my house than someone renting a room from me. My partner has made me realize these stories absolutely screams entitlement. So I had bought a house and rented a room out to a friend for only $100 a week. Thought I was doing the right thing, given her a leg up. I would work away for months on end, so it was also nice to just have someone there in case of break-ins. I was home for about 2 months, so obviously I wanted to catch up with mates before I head off again. I had mainly 3 friends that would come into the house and we would have a beer or 2 and watch some movies. They even made dinner for my friend one time. They are the most least threatening people alive. I had drinks before I left with a few old work colleagues. Rule was, stay outside and I'll grab beers from inside. I had a functional toilet in the workshop, so everyone just used that, including myself, so none of them went inside. They all respected my wishes and it was a good night. She had come home, she didn't say hi to anyone and they didn't go and talk to her. She went inside and I didn't see her at all. Skip to further down the track, she told me I wasn't allowed to have my friends over in my house because she would get scared and lock herself in the ensuite bathroom. I had the most stupid look on my face. I couldn't believe she insulted my friends when she had never even tried to talk to them. None of them never went in her room? If she didn't want to socialize, she could just stay in her room. And if she doesn't like a homeowner have their friends over to their house, don't rent a room? My friends respected my house rules and even went above and beyond to make her dinner. The second time was when I had to ask permission to bring my own pets back home with me during my weeks off work. Turns out she had a dog in the house that I definitely did not approve. I had allowed another dog visit as I knew the dog and know it wouldn't jump a gate to get to my pets. But this was a completely different dog I had never met, and it was a Doberman that is very capable of jumping the gate, and my pets were bunnies. Should be common sense what not to do. She had a cry to my mum, which I was then told I needed permission to bring my pets home. I was fuming. My pets have more say in the house than she does. I would have kicked her out then, but I was about to sell the house as I was getting tired of people thinking they were more entitled to my house. Also had new floors put in, so I actually would have preferred for dogs to be 100% outside as I didn't want the new floors scratched. If it was the other way around and I was renting the room in her house, then yes, I should ask permission to have friends over and to bring my pets. But I was the only one that paid the deposit and it was my name on the title. Who goes to a house and tells the homeowner they can't have friends or their pets at the house? It's common sense and extremely disrespectful. Sold the house at the beginning of the year and have been traveling for work with my bunnies. Everyone was telling me to not spend any of my money, but bought myself a nice 4WD to travel and about to go on a huge holiday. I still have heaps of money left over to settle down whenever I want. Everyone is definitely not entitled to my money or what happens to it. My bunnies will have a say about my money before anyone. Link to my bunnies Instagram in the Story 6. Entitled Friends. One of my friends acted like he owned my car. I cancelled beach day even though I made sure to hang out with him later. I didn't feel bad because last time we hung out we used my car, I was the driver and I'd drive over 6 hours in one day and not once did he cover gas or anything. And I did have a legitimate excuse. I had business to take care of and we hung out later. Just recently he got mad and told me the most he's ever giving me in gas money is $30. I drive a Mustang, gas is high right now and we never stay in the area. I drive around all over for hours. It's fun, but being the passenger it's startling. He freaks out when I need gas because I told him we can hang out but I'm low on money this week. You're a grown woman with a job during the summer, you should be prepared for any and all places, and I'm paying gas for a place that's not my first choice. The thing with him is we do have fun with our little day trips, but when you're the passenger to someone else's personal vehicle and it was your idea, be prepared to pay gas money. Again, it's not like he wanted to stay in the area, he wants to go hours and hours away and then bosses me around if I have to reschedule and gives me an attitude like his presence is a blessing, when really it's a waste of space. I told him off and blocked him on everything. But TF. Story 7. Clueless parent, spoiled child, both next door posts same parent. My daughter wants to film with an Amish or Mennonite family nearby for her Instagram. A day the life. We want the whole thing to be as natural as possible when she asks questions, and she has a bunch. We have greeted some in the market but they seemed shy. So we need them to be talkative for neighbors like. I am not the parent who posted this on Nextdoor. My daughter wants a driverless car ride to New York City for her 18th birthday. What companies offer this? She also wants to take a balloon ride around the Statue of Liberty. 30 neighbors like. Edit, this is a post I saw on Nextdoor. I am not the parent. I am just sharing an example of extreme entitlement. I should have made this more clear. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.